Okay, so let's talk about it. Tatiana Suarez just barely survived Amanda Lemos. I nearly had a heart attack at the end of the fight. Okay, the fight was literally going perfect. It was a bit of a nail biter. I'm not going to say it was going perfect, but it was going good. Tatiana was controlling most of the fight, and she wasn't just doing nothing while holding Lemos against the cage or on the ground. She was like kneeing her to the thigh, landing like these baby shots, not the most damaging shots, but she was being active. So she's doing enough to win the first two rounds. So going into round three, I knew that Tatiana had the fight won. I thought she was winning the third round. But then Amanda Lemos caught her with two elbows against the cage. That reminded me of when Mirko Cro Cop caught Gabriel Gonzaga in that rematch where Gabriel had him against the cage and then Cro Cop landed these vicious elbows and Gonzaga was hurt. Tatiana was in full control of the fight until she got hurt at the end, which sucks. And it sucks that before this sequence, Tatiana didn't even look that great. And I know that a lot of fans, look, I get a win is a win, and I'm glad she won, but I also know that how a fighter wins matters too. And I know that a lot of these haters who were rooting against Tatiana, they're going to give Amanda a participation trophy, and they're going to be like, oh, Tatiana sucks. She's so boring. She did have one boring performance. The Nina Ansaroff win was actually pretty boring. And there's actually parallels between the Nina fight and the Lemos fight. In both fights, Tatiana was in full control in the first two rounds, easily winning, and then gets caught in the last round. Or didn't really get caught by Nina, just got her wrestling shut down and got picked apart. And in this fight, she just was in control and then got elbowed in the head. Then separation was created. Then Tatiana's on her bike running. Then she shoots for a takedown, can't get it, and she's so hurt that she ends up on her back, and Lemos starts ground and pounding her. I'm like, please, Lord. There's like 15, 10 seconds, 5 seconds counting down. Please let Tatiana hold on and survive for these final seconds of the fight. Please don't let us live in a reality where Tatiana Suarez gets TKO'd by Amanda Lemos, because she is the better fighter. On paper, this was a matchup stylistically that she always should have won, that she always should win, no matter how many times they fight. But Tatiana gets it done. Just not in the greatest performance. The first two rounds, round one, it was a bit of a feeling out process on the feet. Lemos wasn't very aggressive because she, respected the takedown threat. But then Tatiana, held her against the fence, kneed her in the vag. And then there was a bit of a pause there, but then Tatiana was able to regain her momentum with the wrestling and I think, get a takedown at the end of the first round. 10-9 Tatiana easily. And then round two is pretty much of the same. They're feeling each other out on the feet and then, Tatiana gets her against the cage and Tatiana lifts her up, slams her. Tatiana's in control on the ground, doing her thing. And then Lemos, disappointingly so, gets back to her feet. And this is the sequence of the fight that worried me the most heading in. I was always worried, what if Amanda Lemos catches Tatiana in a guillotine? Because I remember that she latched up a gilly against Weili Zhang. And I'm like, Tatiana has got to be careful where she's resting her head in the clinch because Amanda will look for a ninja choke, a necktie, some kind of choke from that position. And we saw towards the end of the second round, thankfully 5 seconds left, Amanda goes for a standing guillotine. And I'm like, Tatiana, please don't tap and please don't go to sleep. Luckily, there was enough air. And luckily, there wasn't enough time for Amanda to finish the choke. So she doesn't. Amanda loses the round. Round three, again, it's a Tatiana round. She slams Lemos, but Lemos somehow reverses her. But Tatiana doesn't fully end up on bottom. Tatiana, as the better wrestler, is able to scramble, get back to the feet, control against the cage. But Tatiana chilling against the fence the way she did and getting a little too relaxed, getting a little too complacent, got her caught by those elbows and damn near got her TKO'd. So I'm happy with the win. I'm just not happy with the performance. I'm not happy in how she won. And I know that I'm not going to hear the end of it from these stupid Tatiana Suarez haters. Look, I am the biggest Tatiana Suarez fan ever, but I am also very realistic. That's not the kind of performance I want to see if I want to talk about Tatiana, being in title contention. And one thing that actually worried me ahead of this fight as well, I watched Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba. And what I saw in that fight is Lemos showed good takedown defense, but she also showed she could reverse takedowns, not stay on bottom and end up on top. But the difference between Amanda and Suarez and Jandiroba is Jandiroba can fight off her back. And Jandiroba can use submission attempts from bottom to then regain control in certain positions, right? Tatiana can't do that. She needs to be fully dominant. She needs to be the hammer at all times on the ground. She cannot be the nail. Verna can be the nail. And I'm like, what if Amanda Lemos reverses Tatiana Suarez? And as we saw, she reversed the takedown. She reversed certain positions, but Tatiana was able to sort of re-reverse and regain positions. It's just that she wasn't able to do it in a way that, Verna could, where Verna could eventually get the position she needed to get a submission. But whatever, the fight's done. Tatiana wins. Tatiana barely survives. Who knows what would have happened if it was a 5-rounder. Maybe Tatiana Suarez is washed. I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and say she was never good. I also do think, her style is probably being figured out by now because everyone knows what she wants to do. And I used to gloat. No one can stop it even if they know what she wants to do. But no, it's getting to a point where people are prepared. Weili laid out the blueprint. Lemos had some success, but she's just not as good as Weili, so she wasn't able to fully follow the blueprint. And plus, it was a 3-round fight, so she didn't really have enough time to make more magic happen. She didn't have that extra 4th and 5th that could have benefited her. She only had 3 rounds to work with. That's why she just didn't have much of a chance. But how does Tatiana do against the winner of Verna and Dern? And with a performance like that, does she really deserve a title shot? I mean, who else are they going to give the winner of Mackenzie and Verna? Like, if Weili loses to, Valentina, she'll move back down and then fight the winner. But if not, they could give Tatiana the shot, but then what are her chances against Mackenzie and against Verna? What I will say is, even though both Mackenzie and Verna are more dangerous on the ground, they're more dangerous with submissions than Lemos is, both are less dangerous in the striking. So I don't think that Verna's going to pose as big of a threat standing as, Lemos did. I don't think Dern is going to pose as big of a threat standing. And hear me out, I know Mackenzie's more scrappy than, she's more scrappy than Tatiana. I know she hits hard. And I know she could tag Tatiana Suarez. But I think that is a fight where Tatiana can afford to take more chances on the feet against the Mackenzie Dern, because I don't think she has to worry about being taken down. I think she can defend takedowns of Mackenzie Dern. I think she can stuff takedowns. She just has to really work on her striking ahead of that fight with Dern, if that is a possibility. And very much the same if she fights Verna Jandiroba. She should definitely get to work on her hands against a fighter like Verna and Dern, because I don't know if grappling is going to be that big of an option against either, because the submission threat is there. Now, she can easily out-wrestle, Jandiroba and Mackenzie. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried that what if she goes for takedowns and gets caught in a submission, right? Tatiana just needs to be a little less predictable, but I just don't know how that can be possible when she's so late into her career. She's like 34, almost 35 in December. She's too late into her career to really close that gap in her striking, and I want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong, and I really want to see Tatiana make these improvements late into her career if she is going to be a world champion. But final verdict, do I think Tatiana is a future champion? Unfortunately, no. She'll probably lose to Mackenzie. She'll probably lose to Verna, and I hate to say it because I'm a huge fan of Tatiana Suarez. But with a style that predictable and a style that's becoming figured out at a championship level, I don't know if this one-dimensional style is going to be enough to win her the world title. And I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I do think there was a window for Tatiana to be champion in the late 2010s and the early 2020s, although she didn't, well, she did fight in the early 2020s again, or in 2023, but didn't fight in 2020, 2021, 2022. But I do think that there was a point in time where she would have definitely been champion. Like if she fought Rose for the belt, if she fought Andrade for the belt, or Wei Li in her earlier stages, she definitely would have had that title. But now, here I am saying the division has kind of gotten worse, but I don't know, man. Just with how she's looking lately, she didn't look good against Wei Li, although it's Wei Li. You can't blame her for not looking good against Zhang, but to look bad against Lemos is a horrible look because Wei Li dominated Lemos. Andrade finished Amanda Lemos quickly. Okay? Verna finished Lemos. And Tatiana couldn't. It had a boring hug fest, no finish kind of win. And we know the kind of criticism that she's going to get from all these haters, but whatever. She won. I was kind of talking the same when she fought, or sorry, when Thug Rose had that fight against Andrade, where she barely survived, outpointed Jessica, and then almost got finished in the third round. I was sitting here saying the same thing 5 years ago, that I don't know if Rose will be champion again now. I don't know if she beats Wei Li. And then, sure enough, she beat Wei Li and became the champion again. So we shall see what the future holds for Tatiana. But you know what? Instead of worrying what she's not gonna be able to do with Dern or Verna for the title, I'm just gonna be happy that my girl won. I'm just gonna be happy that she got the job done. But let me know what you guys think in the comments.